Hello everyone. Today is 11th of October. Now it's about 6 o'clock in the evening Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is new episode of Headlines. Short summary of the news that I will talk about in more detail during the final news update of the day on my Patreon page. And let's start with the headlines. And first of all, report from TASS news agency, which is based on statements of Russian Defense Ministry that Russian armed forces liberated the settlement of Ostrovskoye in DPR, which is a very significant development because Ostrovskoye is right next to Kurakhovo city. I believe this is eastern side of that water reservoir that Kurakhovo is located on the bank of, and this settlement, I believe, also saw significant progress of the Russian armed forces in this direction. And Kurakhovo is, of course, major logistical hub of Kiev regime in its central and southern sectors of the front line. Some may argue for even the northern ones. Also, we have a headline from Vzгляд newspaper that Zelensky failed to obtain London's permission to strike deep into Russia with their British Storm Shadow cruise missiles. Quite interesting. Details in our final update on Patreon. Also, we have this news that today Russian President Vladimir Putin visited Turkmenistan, Ashgabat, to participate in international conference there. And he had a meeting, he had a busy day, and he had a meeting with many leaders from different countries. And for example, he had first face-to-face meeting today with the president of Iran, Pezeshkian, since he was elected as a president. Sides have a talk about bilateral relationships and of course about situation in the Middle East. And when it comes to Moscow-Tehran relationships, I have something to say really on this matter, especially now while the world is expecting Israeli retaliatory strike on Iran and then Iranian strike on Israel. I think Moscow may come up with at least temporary solution that will prevent at least large-scale escalation in the Middle East. I will share my opinion on that with our Patreon community. I wonder what our community will think about that. Anyways, let's continue, dear friends. Also, press spokesman of the Russian president, Dmitry Peskov, stated that the Russian president had a meeting with the president of Pakistan today, and the Russian president also had a meeting with the head of Turkish parliament. And during this meeting, Russian president confirmed basically information that he will have negotiations with the Turkish president Erdogan on the sidelines of Kazan BRICS summit that is scheduled for this autumn. Also, dear friends, we have interesting news from RIA Novosti that Putin is trusted by 78% of the Russians, according to latest survey from Ovtsiom. Quite interesting number, isn't it? 78%. That's quite a lot of support that Russian president has. Also, headline from RIA Novosti that Russia has developed a concept designed for a new aircraft carrier, which is also quite interesting. Me personally find it a little difficult to understand why Russia would need a new aircraft carrier. Helicopter carriers or large assault ships, yes, but classical aircraft carriers, if we take into account geography of Russia, then I don't know, I'm not quite sure about it, but I'm no military expert, so how should I know? So yes, concept is developed for a new aircraft carrier. Details, of course, in a final update on Patreon. Also, we have this headline, this news with a headline from Vzglyad newspaper that Georgian Prime Minister stated that sanctions against Russia would lead to collapse and resignation of the authorities in Georgia. And he clearly has a point in this statement. Also, we have TASS News Agency's report that Israel had not decided yet on a response to Iran's recent strike. Also, information that U.S. military opened fire on Allied forces in Syria. So, in 4 occasions in last 24 to 48 hours, U.S. forces that are illegally in Syria opened fire on militias that are cooperating with Syrian army. And this happened in Deir Zor area, I believe, which is northern-eastern Syria. Also we have this news with the headline that Feature estimates insured damage from the hurricanes in US this year, and the number is most likely will be over 100 billion, which is quite a lot, isn't it? Which is quite a lot. Also, by the way, we have a report from Kommersant newspaper with the headline that Sberbank, biggest Russian bank, reduced issuing the cash loans in September by more than 30%, which is also quite a lot. And I guess measures that was taken by central bank, including increase in interest rates, clearly are working, and people less and less are applying for credits into bank. 30% drop is truly a big number. And it will help, I guess, these measures that central bank and economical bloc of the government was taking probably will help to cool down economy a little bit. Also, we have a report from TASS News Agency that the movement of survivors of the nuclear bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki will receive the Nobel Peace Prize this year. So, yes, this is it, dear friends, for this shorter video. I hope you will find the news and headlines interesting, maybe somewhat informative. And if you are interested in more detailed information or more information from Russia, from me, and more commentary, please consider to join our community on Patreon. I will just remind you, if I may, that monthly subscription on my Patreon starts from $5. Links to my Patreon and all the other platforms through which you can support my work are under this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. So yes, click that like button if you can, leave some commentary, and have a wonderful day. Bye for now.